I asked, well, I wear several hats, and one of the hats I wear is I chair the lead neighborhood development circle at the U.S. Green Building Council. I also am a founding board member and currently vice president of Transportation Riders United. But the most important hat that I wear is that of a citizen, not just a taxpaying citizen, although that should have some bearing. I ask you that when you deliberate, that you do not so much give credence to those voices that say that's problematic, that's not been done before, we don't know how that can be done, this is Detroit, we're different. But give rise to the voices that are still small and quiet that say, why can't we have that? Why can't we have a bold, visionary, forward-thinking, and transformative planning process?
True.
Over 100 years ago, an architect made a now famous statement, said, make no little plans. But what never gets heard, or almost never gets heard, is the rest of that statement. And that's that they have no imagination, no power to stir men's blood, and they probably won't get realized anyway. That, of course, was the city of Chicago, and it's important to note, to me anyway, as an architect and developer, that only 25% of the Burnham Plan was ever realized. It was interrupted by a thruway, the Eisenhower and the Kennedy. Imagine what would have happened had it not been for the post-war. Can't look back on that. We have what we have, but we have an opportunity to move forward. And I just want to end with one little anecdotal story. I came to Michigan in 1992 to pursue a dream of architecture. I got off the plane at the Smith Terminal. I walked to a woman at a kiosk, and I said, where do I get the train to go downtown? I'm not the most traveled man in the world, but I've been to a few cities, smaller and larger than Detroit, and I just made the assumption there was going to be some sort of mass transit. The woman literally got up from her desk with a shocked look and said, this is Detroit, where do you think you are? Now, I'll admit I had long hair and a ponytail. I probably looked a little bit less respectable there. But I don't want my grandchildren to have to face that kind of a reality. My daughter lives in Virginia, in a city that has public transportation. She doesn't want to live here because she can't have access to transit. My granddaughter I get to see a couple of times a year because I just don't have the means to travel. Think of future generations. The legacy that you leave behind is going to have an impact on many lives for many generations to come. Probably more impactful in terms of economic development and quality of life for citizens than anything that's been done in the last 100 years in the Detroit region. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Stephen Dwight.